Hello, welcome to episode 43, 44. Episode 44 of the Henry George Daily Devotional. We are in chapter 4 of Spurious Capital and Profits Often Mistaken. And he finally made his first complaint about monopoly power. Uh, and people trying to attribute that maybe to interest or profits when it's this bullshit. All right, George writes, "It is necessary only to allude to these things, not to dwell on them. Everyone knows the tyranny and rapacity with which capital, when concentrated in large amounts, is frequently wielded to corrupt, to rob, and to destroy." Yes, so far he only talked about monopolies granted by governments or kings and monopolies in industries of, telegraphs or railroads. He has not yet talked about land monopoly, which he will. That's his whole shtick. George continues. "What I wish to call the reader's attention to is that profits thus derived are not to be confounded with the legitimate returns of capital as an agent of production. They are for the most part to be attributed to a maladjustment of forces in the legislative department of government and to a blind adherence to ancient barbarisms and the superstitious reverence for the technicalities of a narrow profession in the administration of law. While the general cause which in advancing communities tends with the concentration of wealth to the concentration of power is the solution of the great problem we are seeking for, but have not yet found. Any analysis will show that much of the profits which are, in common thought, confounded with interest, are in reality due not to the power of capital, but to the power of concentrated capital or of concentrated capital acting upon bad social adjustments. And it will also show that what are clearly and properly wages of superintendence are very frequently confounded with the earnings of capital." Yes, that's why George warned us about using the term profits, because people are now mistaking monopolies for being profitable, and then they want to say that these profits are due to the capital, or the earnings are from the earnings of capital, when he's saying no, 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 they are from the concentration of capital acting upon bad social adjustments, or just the constant. If you're going to say it's the power of concentrated capital, then it's kind of like, George, it is kind of from capital, but you're only able to concentrate capital after the bad social adjustments. Unless there are well, he will talk about some natural monopolies, I think. And so, profits properly due to the elements of risk are frequently confounded with interest. Some people acquire wealth by taking chances which to the majority of people must necessarily bring loss. Such are many forms of speculation, and especially that mode of gambling known as stock dealing. Nerve, judgment, the possession of capital, skill in what in lower forms of gambling are known as the arts of the confidence man and blackleg. Ooh, I don't remember this term, blackleg. Give advantage to the individual, but just as at a gambling table, whatever one gains, someone else must lose. I don't know when the term zero sum was coined, but I think it was after George's time. Now, taking the great fortunes that are so often referred to as exemplifying the accumulative power of capital, the Dukes of Westminster, the Marquises of Bute, the Rothschilds, Astors, Stuarts, Vanderbilts, Goulds, Stanfords, and Floods. I don't know the Floods. It is upon examination readily seen that they have been built up in greater or less part not by interests, but by elements such as we have been reviewing. Monopoly. How necessary it is to note the distinctions to which I have been calling attention is shown in current discussions. Where the shield seems alternately white or black as the standpoint is shifted from one side to the other, On the one hand, we are called upon to see in the existence of deep poverty side by side with vast accumulations of wealth the aggressions of capital on labor, and in reply it is pointed out that capital aids labor, and hence we are asked to conclude that there is nothing unjust or unnatural in the wide gulf between rich and poor, that wealth is but the reward of industry, intelligence, and thrift, and poverty but the punishment of indolence, ignorance, and imprudence. Thus concludes chapter 4. We've only been going for 5 minutes. So we will jump into chapter 5, the law of interest. Let us now turn to the law of interest, keeping in mind two things to which attention has heretofore been called. Let's see how long this guy is. Maybe we do this is a little baby one today, and then we do the whole thing tomorrow. I kind of like that. What is this? It don't tell me how long it will take to read. Reading time 10 minutes. Perfect. Speaking time 15. It'll take me about 15 minutes to talk and 20 minutes. Yeah. See you guys later.